All right, man. Gonna see some Aerosmith tonight. You ready?
Rock and roll, man.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network, Wednesday, February 26th. I'm J.E. Skeets, and alongside me, as always, Tass Mellis.
Hey, everybody.
What's up, Tassie? We got the bearded one, Trey Kirby.
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo. The international man of mystery, taking it to the max, Lee Ellis. Lily. And last but not least, making the magic happen, it's JD.
Hello.
There he is, and here we are. Thanks for downloading and listening to our show today. It's Hump Day. Guys, don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at No Dunks Inc. You know, we're on Facebook at facebook.com/No Dunks Inc.
Well, I guess it's official. We're now on Facebook.
And email us your NBA questions and comments to nodunks@theathletic.com. We'll be stepping on the beach a little later today, though we might have that podcast up a little earlier than normal because my man Lee Ellis has got a jet by 1:30 today.
I got to go, man. I got an appointment.
You've told us like 4 or 5 times in the last couple
Well,
hours.
it's an important appointment. I got to remind you guys, you know.
Well, what's going on?
I've just got to take my son to the doctor.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. I don't know with you sometimes. Sometimes I think, well, I got to go down to the court and shoot some hoops or something like that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I've probably used that once or twice.
It doesn't matter if we're done or not. Lee will just walk out. Either way, if we're mid-show, it's just getting that sand in between our toes. He's out of here.
He's out of here. All right. Well, leave whenever you got to leave.
All right.
To take whoever you got
to shoot hoops or to take my son?
No, to take your son to the doctor's office. I wanted to slip this in as well because I don't think I've mentioned it on the podcast yet. We're going to be doing another live show with the crew from Hoop Talks in Toronto, Saturday, March 28th, once again at the Rec Room, a great venue for a live show. We've done a couple there now. Tickets are on sale. They're going to go fast, and the easiest way to find those tickets is through a link, probably through Twitter, at Hoop Talks Live. March 28th in Toronto. Come on out and see your boys. Always a blast with our friends from Hoop Talks. Okay, we got a lot here to get to. We actually have a little beach tease question to get us in the mood for the beach stepping later today, but some pretty good games on Tuesday night in the association. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Let's start with LeBron going for 40 points, his season high, but he also had a lot of high praise for Zion Williamson. It was the Lakers pulling out the victory at the end over the Pelicans in a good game and a potential 1-8 matchup. But LeBron a little too much for the Pelicans, especially Drew Holiday. I felt bad for Drew Holiday.
Drew's a good defender, you know, and he tried his best. But LeBron just kind of said...
but he's a point guard, for
I
God's sake.
but that's the problem.
That's their best option, and legitimately, he doesn't get backed down by bigger guys. But LeBron is a load.
Yeah.
But you saw the effort he was putting in. Even though he got beaten a few times, he was still there saying, I'm giving you everything I've got. And LeBron was like, okay. But I think though, this game, the mentality I saw from LeBron in this game was like, he wasn't giving Zion any sort of, free pass into the NBA. He was like, this guy's good. I'm really good. I've been doing this for like 17 years, and I'm just going to show it to this guy because Zion I thought was fantastic again, but I thought LeBron was much better, and I love those 3-pointers he was knocking down last night. He looked comfortable, but that 40 points, that was just to say, like, LeBron's like, this guy's going to be around for a long time. He's legit, so I'm not letting him just walk into the Staples Center here and put on a show in front of me and my fans.
He was motivated.
For sure.
And it's not surprising for LeBron because we've seen, it feels like his best games have been coming this season against the next generations. Probably going to be best players. Like, he always shows up for a Luka Doncic game. Like, those have been must-watch TV, just like this was. But you got to love seeing Zion attacking LeBron and attacking Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is going to be one of the top 3 guys in the league for Defensive Player of the Year. An incredible defensive player. And Zion's just putting his shoulder into him and finishing over the top. That was impressive.
Yeah. I mean, AD got him a couple times, too.
For sure.
Blocks, 6 blocks in total for AD and 21 and 14. He had killed the Pelicans in the previous 2 games scoring the ball, but this one, didn't shoot it all that well. But no, you're right. I mean, it was, I love Lonzo playing with Zion Williamson, too. It's like, hey, let's go. I'll throw you the oop. You cut back door, I'll throw it. No problem. He's such a great passer, especially throwing the oops, Jason Kidd style. So, yeah, it was fun. I mean, when I was a little shocked when the Pelicans did take the lead there. I guess when did they have it? Late third quarter?
Third quarter,
yeah. And but the Lakers a little too much in the fourth there. But great games from Brandon Ingram. 34 from him, hitting some big shots. But LeBron, man, again, Drew Holiday. That's me trying to guard Trey Kirby in the post there. It's
I'm loving it. We've had a Giannis comparison, a Jokic, and now LeBron.
No, we're hooping tonight. I hope I get matched up on you.
You should hope you're on my team.
Yeah. Oh, you're feeling it tonight, are you?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh, excellent.
You love a rebound highlight. There was that one of Zion against Dwight Howard, of all people, who, he's not the same Dwight, but he's still very athletic and he's looking great. And Zion seemed to just outleap him and go and get that ball. That was also in the third quarter last night. I mean, if you can make a rebound sexy, that's pretty good. And I think that was the sexiest rebound I've seen this season.
Very solid rebound.
Yes, I think
but
so.
Too sexy.
That's sexy. I think rebounds can be sexy and solid. But that was, just again, another example of his athleticism. We saw it early. He had that dunk in transition that sort of got the crowd going there. And then a couple of times you mentioned those backdoor alley-oops and stuff. I mean, when he gets up, he just detonates off the ground.
Yeah.
And it's very exciting to watch.
Do you think the Pelicans, who are currently here in 10th place in the Western Conference, do you think they're going to do this and get into the playoffs and give us a 1-8 Zion versus LeBron matchup? You like their chances. The Grizzlies faltering here. They've lost 3 straight since the break. Trey Kirby wanted that, so we had a storyline going on here. So they've played up or lived up to their end of the bargain. They play in Houston tonight. Could be another L. Bad news with Jaren Jackson Jr. We mentioned on yesterday's show. He's out a couple weeks. Brandon Clark now with a quad injury. He's out a couple weeks. 538 has the Pelicans at a 65% chance to be the team that grabs the 8th seed because they have an easy schedule and not a lot of faith in some of these other teams because of injuries with Lillard on the Blazers and the Spurs not looking all that great. What do you think here? Which team do you want even in the 8th spot to maybe take a game off the Lakers? And I don't think anybody would pick them, whoever gets in there, to beat the Lakers, but maybe a game. Who do you want? Who do you think it's going to be?
That's tough. I mean, the Grizzlies, thank you very much for losing these 3 games out of the break. They'll probably, or at least it'll be close against the Rockets tonight. I guess I would probably pick the Rockets since it's another road game for the Grizzlies, but after that, they got to flip the switch and get back to winning. So this stays a race. They can't just go in the tank and just be bad. I mean, the injuries are definitely going to hurt, but they've got a lot of big guys around who can at least sop up those minutes for Clark and Jackson. I don't know. I mean, you would think that the Blazers and the Spurs have the advantage just because they are veteran teams and they've been there, but the Spurs obviously haven't had it this season. They're not a good defensive team, and the Blazers have had so many injuries throughout the year, and now their main guy is out, and Damian Lillard, but I don't know. For whatever reason, the Blazers seem like the team to me, though I would rather it be the Grizzlies or Pelicans.
Right, okay. That's your preference to have one of these young guns.
And I kind of think that I would like it to be the Grizzlies because they've been playing over their heads for basically the entire season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I mean, Ja Morant was just so electric earlier in this season. He was so much fun to watch. But again, if these other guys like Clark and Jackson aren't back in time for the playoffs, then the Lakers will probably sweep them comfortably if they were to make it. But if the Pelicans are at full strength, certainly they can make that a competitive 5-game series, I think. And we get another Pelicans-Lakers game this weekend too.
That's right, on Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, in New Orleans. So that should be interesting to see if how the Pelicans come out in that one. But I mean, it'd be pretty amazing. I think I said yesterday on the show, if Zion is able to come back and take this team into the playoffs in his first season, that would just be an incredible achievement by him. Obviously, it's not entirely him. They've got other players playing very well, but certainly he would give it that bump, the Zion bump, and the story would sort of fall around him coming back and immediately taking this team to the playoffs, which would be great.
Silver is salivating over the idea of Zion in the playoffs, is he not?
Of course.
As much as I would be excited to see Ja Morant and a couple of the Canadians on the Grizzlies get in there and put up a fight. It's still Memphis. It's still a very small market, and not that the Pelicans aren't in New Orleans, but
New Orleans isn't a huge market.
But Zion's he's just next level. Even as great as Ja has been,
he's a draw.
He's
a big draw
for Duke.
Yeah, and for the national audience. Yeah. And what about Duke? Getting beat yesterday, huh?
What?
They're losing
Wake Forest?
every
Where they lose to
game
Jeff Teague and Tim Duncan?
Come on, Trey Jones.
But I think the Grizzlies or the Pelicans are going to give the Lakers a push. You see rookies like this, and you'd think that at some point they might, just kind of crumble underneath the pressure of going up against the best player of our era. But I don't think so. I don't think either one would wilt at all. And either one would be fun because they would go at LeBron, who it's just wild to watch when he does this, like a 40-point night like this in year 17. I'm just enjoying every single moment because it's just hard to do, to drop 40. And it wasn't a coincidence that he dropped 40 against Zion Williamson and had a season high. But I'm enjoying it because everyone was talking about passing the torch to Zion, but he's kind of passing the torch to Anthony Davis in a way. First time in his career, a teammate's going to average more points than him on his team. So this is the twilight. It's happening, but LeBron reminds us, you talk about Kawhi, sure, but I can do it. I can do it too. So let's enjoy it while we got it here, because the man is old.
Yeah, the Blazers.
It's happening.
And with just looking at that 8 seed again, Blazers are 3 back of the Grizzlies right now. Pelicans and Spurs 3.5. And I guess we almost need to still include the Sacramento Kings and maybe even the Phoenix Suns, who are just behind, the Pelicans and Spurs in terms of like a game and a half more of getting in the 8 seed. And the Kings playing better than all of these teams, really, I think is fair to say. 7-3 in their last 10, have won 3 in a row. So some good things happening there with Sacramento. So yeah, it's going to be should be a very, very exciting race. But that was a fun late game there on TNT in LA, of course, with the Pelicans putting up a fight. It was a good game until the Lakers pulled away. All right, let's keep it moving. The headline here, I'm just going to give it to you. Best in the East by far. Giannis leads the Bucks past the Raptors 108-97. Bucks improved to 50-8. This was the first game on TNT. Playoff-like atmosphere. I mean,
Certainly.
Giannis basically doubled down on that after the game, saying, "Yeah, we fresh in our minds that Game 6 loss last time we played in Toronto and had lost 4 straight after going up 2-0 in the series. It was intense for a late February game." Between 2 great teams, but man, both of these teams I think wanted it.
First time Giannis had to pull out his passport this season, it has to be a reminder. Oh yeah, we played this team in the playoffs last year. They beat us, and they couldn't have done a better job against Giannis. They were so attentive to him, and he ends up with 19 points or 18, whatever he had. 19, and 19 defensive rebounds because he's a monster on that end, and that's where the concern for the Raptors is. They do a good job on Giannis, but on the other end, the worrisome part was they couldn't get into the paint at all against him and Brook Lopez, against those 2 dudes. And so that's the worry when it comes to the playoffs.
Right. So defensively, the Raps are totally fine, you think, and this was out without Marc Gasol, who's obviously a great defender, even Norm Powell, a good wing defender at times. But it's the offense. It's trying to score on the best defense in the league in the Bucks. I'm with you, 100%. I mean, the Raptors shot a season-high 52 three-pointers.
Yeah. Franchise high.
Franchise high, thank you. And that's the game plan from the Bucks. We talked about it before. That's what they do. They give it up, and then they're saying, you're not going to be able to score on us inside. I mean, it was every time the Raps did penetrate, it was generally a block from either a Brook or a Robin, or like you said, Giannis with
Brook
a couple.
Lopez was counting his blocks during the game.
It's crazy. They're just gigantic in there, and that's the game plan, and it worked at least for this one.
They only gave him 5 in the end. I thought he got 6, Brook, and he'll probably file a protest to the league about that one. But I mean, Serge Ibaka had 10 3-point attempts, made 1, and Kyle Lowry had 7. Ooh. So you mentioned it there. The Bucks will give you those.
Siakam 9.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
Yeah, so there's threes to be had, if you can't knock them down, they did knock them down early. They were firing away, but it was that close of the second quarter too to end the half.
Totally.
That's when the Bucks, I think it came back to 1 point there, and the Raptors just went cold, and then that really spilled over into the second half. And one thing I noticed about Giannis last night, and I actually tweeted a little clip about it, he had some LeBron-esque passes, I thought, last night, especially
they're making him a playmaker.
Yeah,
that's what they're doing.
And he has clearly been working on that, because a couple of those passes were like you didn't even see where the guy was, and all of a sudden he'd zip it inside. And so I thought if he's adding that to his game as well as potentially this 3-point shot consistently, then man, on the defensive end, he's just again brilliant. Even though Anunoby got him last night, but that happens. Giannis contests shots, so you want your best player up there saying we're not giving up any easy baskets, even if that means he's going to get dunked on a couple of times. So yeah, very, very impressive performance from the Bucks. Of course, for the Raptors, you want to just see everybody healthy. That can change things. But this current lineup without Gasol and without Powell does make the Raptors do look a little thin, I thought.
Well, yeah, especially when 2 other starters are shooting a combined 2 of 17 from 3. Yeah. I mean, that was the worst Ibaka game all season long, by a mile.
Well, it stinks when he is the field goal attempts leader on your team. That just, it's not ideal.
Yeah.
And Marc Gasol would help that a little bit, but that's exactly what the Bucks were begging them to do. Serge, go ahead and shoot this thing. And it's not the recipe for a win.
Yeah, and then Lowry. I mean, one of his worst games that I can recall from this year as well. I mean, what was he doing? What was Lowry doing?
The through the legs move?
Trying to human nutmeg George Hill, and then rising up. I mean, at least if you're gonna just commit to it and just try and go under him, but that was very, very strange.
Yeah,
and
to me that was
properly
like
called an offensive foul.
The Happy Gilmore scene where he's like, I'm the only guy to ever try to take my skate off and try to stab somebody. Kyle Lowry might be the only guy who tried to human nutmeg somebody during an NBA game. I guess Nate Robinson sort of did it once upon a time when a guy jumped, but it's a little easier for Nate Robinson.
Yeah, that's true. He is smaller than Lowry is. That was very, very weird. And those guys just had brutal games, and especially with Lowry. Like, yeah, they got the 52 3-point attempts. That is the game plan, defensive game plan from the Bucks. And Nurse said it. He said only like 40 of those were like good ones. There was a lot of like that high pick, and then Lowry or Van Vliet or whatever, like just trying to step right into a three right away. Like the Bucks are gonna live with that any day of the week. And Lowry can hit those, I know, and he's streaky shooter from three, but he didn't have a goal last night, and he kept continuing just trying to find that. It was like, oh God. You can get a little better. You can probably get a better shot than that, guys. Even against this elite defense from Milwaukee.
Well, you can see how valuable Kawhi Leonard was last year, because another shot that's going to be open against the Bucks. If you're not going to be making threes, you're not going to get to the rim. You're not going to get to the foul line. So what's open?
You need that
mid-range.
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard is killer in mid-range, which is why he's able to take over from 16 feet. Something that's not usual. It makes you wonder what the Raptors' game plan will be, because they are a three-point shooting team, 3rd in the league in percentage, 7th in attempts. This is a team that should be able to outshoot the Bucks occasionally.
Yeah, and Pascal Siakam, when he wants to change it up and get to the rim, he can do that usually, but against a really good defense, it was a problem against those two monsters. So, yeah, he's got to have a bit of a – he can score in the high post-ish area. Maybe he's got to let a few of those fly. Marcus Gasol might let a few of those fly, but the Bucks are happy to let those happen as well because, yeah, you don't have a Kawhi, and that's the difference. And to say, I don't think you can say this was a great game for the Milwaukee Bucks, great win. I mean, the Raptors did a really, really, really good job against this team.
Yeah.
And the criticism was of Mike Budenholzer. What are you going to do? You're just going to keep hammering your head against the wall? Same thing over and over and over and over again. Just let your guys, after a pass from Giannis, let it fly. That's what was happening in the first half, and then testament to that team, and they came out of the locker room. And I think it was a different team than the one that lost to the Raptors in the postseason. They had a bunch of confidence in that third quarter. That's what they always do that, through the first 58 games here of the season. They come out of the locker room and they kick butt. That's what they do. And they shared the ball, and we're just a lot more cohesive in that second half. That's 108 points to a Giannis-led team that the Raptors gave up. It's not bad at all.
No,
overall,
their defense was solid. Yeah,
and so they just have to be able to score the ball and find guys to have a little bit. They were lucky. They were lucky actually to score 97 because their bench was monstrous, and Matt Thomas and Chris Boucher, and then Terrence Davis found it. Those guys that don't understand what pressure is. Those were the guys really that made this thing happen. They were lucky, and it was the curveball at Lowry, Siakam. And Van Vliet as lead guys now, it's got to be up to them.
Chris Middleton for the Bucks too. He was missing in action in the first half, did basically nothing, but then caught fire there in the third, went 3 for 3, scored 9 points there, helped that big third quarter from the Bucks. He finished with 22 overall. And I forgot, Middleton, and we talked about it yesterday, like to me, like he is that player, that crazy wild card, if you will, to the Bucks' chances of actually winning a title. In that series versus the Raptors last year, I mean, he had one good game in the 4 losses. When they win 2 and then they lose to 4 straight, he had that 30-point game. He was garbage in the other 3 games. Like garbage for your all-star second guy. So on a night, especially where these 2 elite defenses, everybody's locked in, everybody's trying to scramble around, and they're on a string. Somebody's got to score. Somebody's got to hit shots. And Middleton, in a game where not a lot of guys could knock him down, he was. That's good enough, 22. I think did he tie Pascal Siakam? I think for most points in the game. So he is such a wild card to me. This team for this team, in my opinion. The Raptors too, though. All that said, Van Vliet, he had that play where was it the 3-point play, or he hit the 3, was it not? Then they forced the steal.
Yeah.
And he let it
That was a
rip
bomb.
from deep. It was like, what are you doing, Van Vliet? I mean, he was feeling it, I guess, and that would have made it a very, very close game late. But he missed that, and I think the Bucks came back the other way, and then that may have been the Giannis three in the corner, if I remember correctly. Blew the game open, and then it was over.
Couple of corner threes for Giannis.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't see him standing in the corner, so I guess he probably won't get a lot of attempts there, but that's the easy one, and if he's going to shoot them consistently and shoot a lot of them, I don't know. I mean, maybe the guy will average 45 points a game if he starts becoming a quarter three-point shooter because he's unstoppable. Even the Raptors had a good game. They did a great job keeping him off the line, and he's still almost a triple-double, 19-19.
Yeah,
Come on.
And he played, the Bucks wanted this game. I think that was pretty evident. He played 38 minutes, Giannis did.
Yeah.
And I know because he had fouled out the game prior. This is a back-to-back situation, so maybe the legs were good. But that was his second most minutes he's played in a game this season. They wanted it, to send that message.
Well, Drake showed up with the championship belts.
Yeah, wow.
I mean, honestly, the Raps have the championship belt, and the Bucks are doing all their wrestling stuff before games, so I think that's actually a pretty fair taunt.
Well, are the Raps like the undisputed boxing champs as well? There was 3
Yeah,
belts.
yeah.
Why were there 3 belts?
Yeah.
That's the part I couldn't figure out. It was
Reigning
like
champion, Canadian champion. They are,
Right.
by default.
Right.
I don't know what the third one is.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't
That's a
know.
good question.
Yeah, but you're right. Drake was trolling hard last night, saying this wasn't the Wizards. He had the Fred Van Vliet hats that he was handing out to Jack and Devlin, Federico. He was dancing. I was like, that was peak Drake.
Yeah. Nate Jones pointed out, though, you got to sit the center plate of those belts on your shoulder.
Yes.
You can't dangle it off the side. I mean, come on.
You think he was when he carried them in, he had them a little too low?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
You want
you've
them
got to
up
put it
more?
on your shoulder like that. So,
He's wearing a slippery sweater, I think, is the problem.
The Bucks improved to 50-8 this year. Only 4 teams in NBA history have reached 50 wins with fewer losses. 82-83 Sixers, the 95-96 Bulls, the 96-97 Bulls, and the 15-16 Warriors. This is a juggernaut of a team.
You said the headline was they're the best team in the East by far. Are they not the best team in the NBA?
Yeah. Yes, they are, because I saw Zilla write this in his newsletter this morning. The Bucks are now 6-2 against the best teams in the league. Best teams being teams above a 650 winning clip. So Lakers, Raptors, Celtics, Nuggets, and Clippers. Milwaukee's 3-0 against all the LA teams. They're 2-0 now against Denver. Denver got a win off them, but they split one with the Celtics. They're amazing. They destroy the bad teams, and now they're beating all these really, really good teams too. So they're the best team.
next
in the league.
Friday night, March 6th, in Los Angeles versus the Lakers.
In Los Angeles.
But
ESPN.
that's the question. Are the Bucks anybody's favorite right now for the championship? I feel like most of us would probably take both LA teams over the Bucks.
I wouldn't take the Clippers over the Bucks.
I know you're sort of out on the Clippers.
Yeah. I am.
But would you take LeBron and the Lakers versus the Bucks?
I probably would still take LeBron. Yes.
Because of Alex Caruso.
He was good last night.
Oh,
Clutch
my
block.
God.
Yeah. Wow, what a block that was. Highlight block.
Highlight block, dropping
Yeah.
the pass between his
Yeah.
legs. to
Oh,
LeBron
yeah,
to
that was
finish.
gorgeous. Yeah.
And his points, or whatever he leads to points, they're worth more, man, with
Yeah.
that crowd.
Yeah.
Crowd just goes bonkers
Yeah,
for
for
him.
sure.
Anything he does. I don't know, would you have the Bucks as
I would have
right
the
now
Bucks.
as a favorite?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would.
Just over an LA team?
Both LA teams.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the teams. I mean, those would. I think I would take the Clippers over the Lakers, but the Bucks have proven that they're the best team.
They're on
Period. And
another level right
to me,
now.
that they were able to not buckle at halftime of this game. They look like a different team than what happened in the playoffs last year because they just didn't have the experience last year. But I'm guessing that they're confident enough to beat even LeBron, even the juggernaut. That they're just, the confidence has oozed down even to Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton was the X factor in this game, and sometimes he fades, but he showed up. And I think it's coming from Giannis. Like he even post game when they asked him about Drake, Jared Greenberg asked him about Drake, he just said, "Come on, that's Drake. I got bigger fish to fry here." And the whole team is following that dude's lead. Eventually, he's scary. Eventually, he's going to break through, and it seems like it's going to be this year.
But all that said, wouldn't it be so almost perfect for LeBron if the Bucks win 70-plus games, right? They roll through the
Wow.
Eastern Conference. The Lakers, in battles with all these teams in the West, they somehow get there. And LeBron, the Bucks go up 3-1 in the finals, and LeBron does it again, like the 15-16 Warriors.
Just lets them go up 3-1.
Yeah. They just concede the games. We don't even play the first 4 games. It's just we start it with a 3-1 lead for the Bucks in the finals and see what happens. No, I am with you. It's Giannis is so locked in. It's like, if they don't win a championship, he will completely think this is a failure of a season. Like that is the level they're at for a team that hasn't even gotten to the finals yet with him as their head guy. But that's good. That's what you want from your lead guy, and he brings it every night. All right, next one here. Coby White makes NBA history by becoming the first rookie reserve to score 30-plus in 3 straight games. Bulls did lose. But Coby White going for a career high 35 in his 3rd consecutive game of over 30 points.
Is it too late for him to win Rookie of the Year?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, you're probably right, but he was on fire. Zach LaVine caught fire there in the last minute, too. It looked like he was mad at Jim Boylan for calling a timeout with about 20 seconds left, which then, of course, did leave the Bulls without a timeout for the final 8 seconds when they could have maybe ran a play. But apparently he was actually mad at the refs for not giving him a foul call on a night when he had 40, expecting some superstar calls. Didn't get the all-star call from Adam Silver. Didn't get the all-star calls last night, but I don't know. It's looking tough for the Bulls to make the playoffs. But they got a winning streak in their pocket somewhere, right?
Wow.
They still got it.
This was one of those amazing ones where I looked early and the Thunder were up 17 points, and you thought, okay, they're just going to kill this. And then at the end of the 3rd quarter, the Bulls somehow got ahead. Incredible stuff. So it was like, all right, I'm going to tune in here because Coby White, there was a lot of talk about him. And the Bulls made it. They had a chance. Zach missed that shot at the buzzer there, which would have won the game for them. So it was kind of a fun, exciting end to that game.
Yeah.
But... tough for Bulls fans. And Stephen I know he follows he writes for the Bulls for the Athletic, man. Follow him any night the Bulls are playing, man. He'll keep you entertained for sure, because some of the things that the Bulls do, some of the possessions they have either end of the floor are just hilarious. It's amazing that they somehow had a chance to win this game. It really is. But Chris Paul once again closes the game.
Yeah, Thunder improved to 17-9 in games decided by 6 points or less. Road winning streak, I think, is at 9 now.
Yes.
Can't lose away from OKC. And you said Chris Paul, of course. Dennis Schroder, once again. I mean, he had 21 points, and he made that huge defensive play in the 4th to help OKC hold on for this victory. I think he's running away with 6th man of the year. I know there's a couple Clippers, obviously Lou trying to go back-to-back-to-back. Montrezl Harrell deserves some love. Jordan Clarkson's been good. Even Goran Dragic, though he missed the 10 games and the Heat have sort of fallen back to earth here. I think Schroeder's running away with it. I really do.
I agree.
And deservedly. I mean, and it helps that his team's winning a lot of games and they're rising up the Western Conference, playoff picture here. But he's like nearly a 20-point-per-game scorer. He's obviously out there in all these closing lineups in all these close games, making plays. And his efficiency is great. 47% from the floor, 39% from 3. Good at the line. I don't see how he doesn't win it at this point, right?
Yeah, Lou's numbers aren't all that different compared to last season, but he doesn't seem to have had that same impact.
But they've gone down and down here in the last 3. And you're right, I think the impact comes into play too. And that's probably a part of also, now you're on a team with Kawhi Leonard, and when Paul George is healthy, maybe that's in there as well.
Because around the deadline, there was a lot of talk the Thunder might look to move Schroeder. And I was surprised by that because he's been very important to them for that 3-headed guard monster with Gilgeous-Alexander and Chris Paul. And coming off the bench, embracing that role. So I'm not surprised the Thunder traded it and didn't trade him in the end. I was just surprised that people thought they were going to, because at that point of the season we could see the Thunder were more than just having a little hot streak. They were like, their designs were on making the playoffs, and now they're definitely going to do that.
All right, final one here. Tatum, 36 points. Celtics down the Blazers 118-106. Tatum, another monster
This guy's
game.
on fire right now.
Yeah, I tweeted it out this morning. You can hand him February's Eastern Conference Player of the Month if you care about those things. He's averaging 30.3 points per game in February, 7.2 rebounds, 3 assists, shooting splits 50, 49.5, and 78% from the line. Celtics 8-2 in February. His usage percentage is over 30. And Giannis is amazing, but Giannis even missed a couple of games, and his numbers are not even like that high in terms of scoring the ball and shooting the ball in the month of February. So I think Tatum has that wrapped up. But career high 8 3-pointers for Tatum. The Celtics, where do you have them in your contender list for a title, or at least getting there? Are they better than the Raptors? Are they better than the Sixers?
It's a good question. They're better than the Sixers. I would say they're better than the Sixers, despite maybe the Sixers having a little bit better high-end talent. But I don't know. Where do you put them in the contenders? Against the Bucks, the thing I would worry about, can they get enough stops? I'm not entirely sure. I think Giannis would kind of run wild against the Bucks, or against the Celtics. But the Celtics do have a lot of guards who are willing to play in that mid-range and can get their own shots. Tatum obviously was money from deep last night, but he's just been so determined, I feel like, with his decisions. Like, he makes a decision and he's going at it right away. He's not taking his time, and then figure out your shot. It's like, I'm pulling up for a three, or I'm going to the rim, or maybe I'll get a little mid-ranger here. He's just he's really coming to his own, and, you know, with Kemba Walker being out for the past couple of games, it's been nice to see Tatum step up and be their best player, because if he's going to be their best player for the rest of the season, Kemba Walker is an awesome number 2 guy. Yeah. That's for sure.
Yeah. And Jaylen Brown even has been a really awesome, like, 1-2 punch with these two guys right now on both ends.
Yeah, and I think that's the new pecking order, and that's okay. Kemba going to the number 2 role, and that's ideal, really, because Kemba Walker as a number 1 guy we saw in Charlotte wasn't primo pasta and sauce. It didn't really work out all that well. So Jayson Tatum has taken on that role, and I would worry about them getting bombarded by Giannis Antetokounmpo in the playoffs. They have a really good defense, but you watch what the Raptors do in ganging up, building that wall, building that shell to guard Giannis. The Celtics, I don't think they can do it the same way. It's going to fall probably on Jayson Tatum a little bit and Jaylen Brown, and they can gang up against them, but I think the Bucks will score too many points. But at the other end, Tatum is not going to fear the moment whatsoever. Like a couple of years ago without Kyrie Irving, I think he's going to thrive in that number 1 role when it comes to the postseason, and he's going to be a bad man, and he's going to be on the national stage for the first time, I think, in the playoffs, really as a number 1 guy, really kicking butt.
You believe in the B-Town boys?
I do, yeah, for sure. And Tatum last night, what I liked, he was feeling that three-pointer and he was seeking it out and knocking them down. He was celebrating. He was doing the 3 to the sleeve and all that.
And he, if you looked at his shot chart too, it is all really the threes or at the rim.
Yeah,
he didn't settle for any of the mid-range jumpers last night.
He knows he can just get to that rim anytime he wants to right now. I mean, we've talked about that a lot this season. It's so impressive. He didn't get any free throws though last night, which is interesting. Yeah. But yeah, he's taken that step up to, super player. Not superstar, I wouldn't say.
I was going to say.
I know. I'm trying to find.
Hold on, there's a superstar and then there's a super player.
Look,
right
you've got
below.
LeBrons and you've got your Giannis. He's not at that level yet.
That's superstar.
He's the next
Super
tier.
player.
Yeah, super player.
Okay. What about just a star?
He's better than a star. I think he's better than a star. Yeah.
So star, super player, superstar. All right.
I mean, it's just it's been so impressive seeing him develop this season and grow. And I wonder how much of that comes from the experience with Team USA over the summer, because he went out there and he played well for the Team USA, but just being around other, star and superstar players helped his development, because I think when you're a young guy, I think it's very important to be on those teams. When you're a bit of an older player, like someone like LeBron, you don't need to be around those younger guys as much, but someone like Tatum can really learn from and benefit from those sorts of experiences, and he's an all-star. I mean, he's knocking on that door of all NBA. I mean, that's a tough spot, the forward. There's a lot of good players in that position, but he's going to get some consideration.
Yeah, will Middleton and him
exactly. He's battling someone like Middleton, because Giannis and LeBron are the first team, unquestionably. Siakam's in the mix still.
Kawhi. Is Anthony Davis a forward?
Exactly, Jokic.
Probably.
I mean, all these guys.
Yeah.
There's a lot of depth at that position, but I think Tatum's got a pretty strong case right now.
No, he definitely does. I do think he might come up just short. But look, I mean, he has another month like he just did here in February, then I mean, great timing with obviously the voters making their decisions. That would help him. And he's if he doesn't make it this year, he's knocking on the door, as you said, that 12-time Tatum there. And again, once I saw Celtics blog writing about it. All the attention, there has been a lot of attention to Tatum, but again, Jaylen Brown continually he's making his little leap as well, or in conjunction with Tatum. Another good game, 24 points, 8 of 19 shooting, the 7 boards, hit some threes. He got to the line. He's a plus 15 out there. And then he gives you great defense where he's like, oh yeah, I'll take one of the best guys on the other team. That's not a problem. They are just so complementary of each other. The idea of the one guy being sort of the go-to offensive guy and the other guy being your your lockdown guy, but can also give you points on that end as well.
I think they're both honestly like that. I thought it was so impressive watching him play the Lakers over the weekend, even though they lost, was that Tatum and Bron were guarding LeBron and Anthony Davis. Like, that's a huge challenge for a couple of young guys, and they were both willing to take it on while also still playing well offensively on the other end. Like you're saying, though, Brown is a little bit defense first, also good offense. Tatum, offense first, with pretty solid defense for a guy who is still a young player. I mean, people compare them a little bit to, in the future, maybe they could be Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. It's not far off.
No, definitely. And that race, I mean, you're going to want to, like, both these teams, Raptors, Celtics, or anyone really, Heat, Sixers, you're going to want that 2 or 3rd spot. You don't want to be in the 4th, 5th, because then you're getting Milwaukee in the 2nd round.
Yeah.
So that there is no doubt that's going to be something to watch. They'll be like, yeah, we'll play each other in the 2nd round, be it the Celtics, Raps, or whoever gets into one of those positions. Like, let's save Milwaukee for as long as we possibly can. Maybe Middleton rolls an ankle or Giannis rolls an ankle, something like that. So you just have to push it off, or maybe even it's a team like the Sixers, who are a good matchup in theory against the Bucks, are the ones that can give them the toughest fight. It's all matchups when it gets to the playoffs, and you can sort of throw out the seeding to some extent.
That 2nd round,
Juicy.
in
Very
the Eastern
juicy.
Conference. My goodness, whether it's looks like the Heat, Sixers in that 4-5, whoever gets through to battle the Bucks.
Yeah. And then if
Seems
it's
exciting.
Celtics, Raptors, or something like that.
We had the same feeling last year going into the playoffs. Am I right? Into the Eastern Conference playoffs, like it was.
Second round was going to be money?
Yeah,
Definitely.
and did it work out that way?
Raptors, Sixers,
Well,
Bucks,
yeah,
Celtics.
Bucks.
Celtics, Bucks, not so much.
Yeah.
Kyrie sort of checked out of that one.
that was a
Yeah,
tight.
but they won that
They
first
won
game.
the first
Yeah.
game.
They won a game.
That was the one I was there for. I believe that was Boston Marathon weekend, I think. I think that was the game I saw. Wait, no, who would have been? No,
It was in
I
Milwaukee,
saw
though.
Game 3. Yeah, I must
Yeah.
have saw Game 3, I think.
Yeah, they
cool
won
story.
that game, and then they romped them, and that's the worrisome part of the Bucks going up against the Celtics. Just feels like they can't stop Giannis. And that was a 4-1 series, and Al Horford was there, but Jayson Tatum is a bigger boy now, and it's crazy to think how young he is. He's going to turn 22 in a few days, and he was born with this. I mean, Lee talked about the thing going on at just what you take from being in international competition, but in his rookie year, he was a playoff performer. Like, this guy he's going to hopefully he'll prove me wrong and give Giannis a good run in the, if they make it, if they play. Raptors can do it too.
That was a really fun night in the association. Let's hit the beach. A little beach tease here. We'll be stepping fully on the beach before Lee has to leave later today. So keep your eyes and your ears on that podcast.
The countdown is on.
Yeah, but we like to get in the mood here. A little tease. Just flick a little sand around. Give you an idea. Hear the waves lapping a little bit in the background. And I thought this was a good question coming through Twitter at Jetpack Randy. He wrote in.
What a name.
Great name. The earring talk got me thinking. We had a lot of earring talk over the last couple of days.
big time.
Dangly earrings off of Wade. Did you wear one today? Or?
I didn't wear one today. My ear was honestly hurting last night.
Sorry to hear
I hadn't worn an earring for decades and then wore a heavy one. I was struggling, walking sideways.
you had a limp too. He wrote, at Jetpack Randy, who are your early predictions for playoff studs and sleepers? Lee's favorite earrings, studs and sleepers. Who is going to shine? No doubt, that's a stud. And who will be a surprise hooper? Nice, very nice. The sleeper there, that's he even threw in the hashtag no dunks there, at Jetpack Randy. Okay, studs and sleepers. Yeah, let's start with the studs. Who's your stud going into the playoffs?
Who's my stud is going to be? Well,
I was looking at you.
Well, I'll jump in. What do you
don't
think
have
of
an
your
answer?
stud?
Oh.
Anthony Davis has never been really on a national stage in the playoffs. Like, he's won one playoff series, and that was against the Blazers, that quickie, and then they got romped by the Warriors. So Anthony Davis,
Yep.
especially after playing in New Orleans, like you said, it's a tiny market. This is his breakout stud. Go ahead, Lee.
I was actually with you as well, Tass. I'll give Lee a chance to research the playoff teams and who might be playing well here. He's shocked to be asked this question. Oh, me?
There is a sleeper at the table.
I've got an
There's
answer.
one sleeper here.
I've got an answer,
All
but
right,
I
what's
wasn't expecting the question to be teed up like that. Because
You thought I was going to go sleeper first?
Yeah, because it really is Eric Bledsoe. That's who it is for me.
Okay.
Because as great as everything's been for the Bucks, they do have a weakness in the playoffs, and that has been Bledsoe.
Yeah.
And if he is bad, bad again in the playoffs, then it changes things. Now they've got good depth. I think some of their with George Hill coming off the bench and DiVincenzo, and who's the other guy I'm thinking of? Pat Connaughton as well.
Wesley Matthews,
yeah, Wesley.
Marvin Williams in the post last night.
Marvin was great.
They've got a lot of good players. Man.
Corver's out too.
I mean, Bledsoe, he's the starting point guard. He's the all-star caliber player in that position.
Yeah.
And they need him to step up because that has been exposed in the last couple of years, where it's like Bledsoe can't play.
So do you have confidence in him?
Do I?
Yeah.
I don't know because last year he teased me as well. Last year he was also a borderline all-star, and you thought, okay, the first season, because he came not even halfway through, early into the season to Milwaukee, it was a trade, and then the whole thing with Terry Rozier and the playoffs got into his head, and the Boston crowd, tough place to play. So you sort of throw that one out. Mm-hmm. Got a chance to do it again in the following season, and the Bucks are on the brink of making the finals. And again, not all entirely his fault, but certainly he didn't step up. So he has to step up, I think, this season, really, for the Bucks. I mean, they can probably survive without him anyway.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But
even if he's not playing well,
it does seem like there's less pressure on Bledsoe now, which is odd because Brogdon left, so you're going to need more from Bledsoe as a point guard. But I think it's Middleton's growth and just his takeover ability really means that Bledsoe, you're hoping he gives you 12 to 15 points, a couple of assists, and then the defense, that he's there defensively. That's going to be his biggest contributions. But you're right, Lee. He's a guy that's been exposed in a couple of straight playoffs, so you got to be watching.
He shot in the 6 games versus the Raptors in that series last year. Bledsoe shot 29% from the floor and 17% from 3 on nearly 5 3-point attempts per game. Yeah, you got to be a little bit better than that. You're not asking for much more, but he had the boards and the assists in there and doesn't really turn it over all that much. But you can got to be able to shoot a little bit better than that.
You can see it affects his game though.
Yeah,
his confidence dropped. His shoulders, those gigantic shoulders, slump a little because he's just not feeling it. And so that's the question for the Bucks.
Okay, that's your sleeper. Do you guys have sleepers?
I got a sleeper. The Ferk Man. Ferk
nice
Korkmaz.
Yeah, that's a sleeper.
Oh.
The Sixers are better when he plays. In 2020, he's averaging 11.8 points per game, shooting 41.3% from 3. Basically, when the Cork Man is hitting threes, there's enough room out there. Yeah. And, I mean, who knows what's going to happen with Ben Simmons. We found out that he has a nerve impingement in his back, which does not sound good. Could be out for the rest of the season. Could be back at some point. There's got to be somebody that can score from the perimeter for the 76ers, and I don't think you're going to get much deeper of a sleeper than the Ferk Man.
Yeah, good one.
No, you're not. I tried to stay away from teams that could get bounced in the first round because they're not allowed. They're not memorable. They just aren't, even if you lose. And so the Ferk Man, good sleeper, but he could lose in the first round to the Miami Heat. Can't wait to see that. But I also took a guy. I'm going against my rules here because I took Bojan Bogdanovic, who's a similar guy to Ferk in a way. I mean, he's going to bury you from three-point land, but he's got that swagger. He's got that Euro swagger. He really does. He's a really confident guy, and he'll be out there for the Utah Jazz. I mean, people forget about him because they always do. They've got other assignments on that Jazz team, so he'll do some damage.
Right, if they can get out of the first round,
yeah,
like you said.
Yeah,
if they get the Rockets,
it's a problem.
Could be a problem. All right, so let's hear from you guys. That's a fun one, again, from @JetpackRandy. The studs and sleepers.
Randy!
Already talking playoffs here. A lot on this show here in late February. We're getting excited. Nobody cares about March Madness. Are you excited for Duke? I am too.
No, there's no Duke fans in this room, that's for sure.
Oh, man, are you
March
kidding me?
Madness? How are you not excited?
What's our team? The Jackrabbits.
Oh, the Jacks?
Yeah.
South Dakota State.
North Dakota State?
South Dakota State. How are they doing this year?
SDSU,
I don't know. I feel like with
know.
those small schools, they just win their conference
Was that
year
not
and year and year.
was that the women's team that was hitting all the half-court shots? Were they the Jackrabbits?
I don't know, man.
I think they were.
That tweet, they were tagging us in that because these girls were hitting.
Oh yeah,
half-court shots
and the Jackrabbits were our team in March Madness.
Oh,
yeah, I think that was the women's team.
Quick Google: South Dakota State currently first in the Summit League.
Come on, baby.
Surely they have a tournament to play in, but things are looking good for the Jacks.
Yeah, they are.
Here we go, Jacks.
They always are. All right, let's get to tweet of the night.
Tweet of the night. Wow.
Twitter.
I don't want to spring this on you. You do know you have tweet of the night duties.
Yes,
yeah?
I do. And
Okay.
guess what? I don't have one, but not a specific tweet, because several people were tweeting about this last night, and it came from the Lakers and the Pelicans game.
All right.
And it was late, and LeBron was seen on the sidelines eating what appeared to be either red vines or Twizzlers. Now, I believe it was red vines because the TNT broadcast there showed someone who had like an open packet sitting close to LeBron.
Probably passed it down.
Yeah, so the debate that raged online was, what is better, red vines or Twizzlers? And one other question, do you guys just eat straight black licorice like we have in Australia? You know, you've been to Australia.
Love black licorice.
But the licorice in North America is way more sweetened because black licorice is a tough thing to eat. So have you ever had a tray? Have you ever had like
black licorice? Of course.
Are you
hated
a fan?
it as a kid. Hated the anise taste.
Yeah.
But I think I would like it more now as an adult.
So good.
Anyway, so you guys know, I mean, this is in your wheelhouse, the red vines or the Twizzlers.
Okay,
you got?
I got to be honest. What is a red vine? Like, how is it that much different than a Twizzler?
A red vine definitely has like more of a circular shape, and more of a hole in the middle. I would say it feels like there's less product to it. Less red product.
So it's
less hairspray on it?
Yeah, it's less dense than a Twizzler.
Right, it's a little softer. It's a little bit more tubular.
Okay.
Yeah, the Twizzler, it's more of a stick. It would hurt more if you whip somebody with it.
Okay, that's I think
I can't tell the flavor. The flavor,
that.
I don't remember. I don't think I've ever had a red vine, so I don't know the flavor difference.
Yeah, I don't think red vines are that popular in Canada.
No.
JD?
No. I have no idea what
it's
they're.
Twizzler country up there.
Twizzler country up north.
Yeah, it's Twizzlers are the parents and nibs are their kids. So that's the family of red licorice in Canada.
Nibs.
I pass that down to my kids. The crunchy nibs.
That's your nibs.
It's my nibs.
Yes. Okay.
We'll grow up in a Twizzlers household.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know. Twizzlers are definitely more commonplace. I think red vines maybe have a little bit more flavor. But I just actually came up with a new game in my head that might make for a good pick and payoff. Okay. We've had Ice Chest. What about Twizzler Whip? Hold your arm out, just smack one down on there. That would hurt. But not too much.
Not too much, yeah, because it's not long enough. Maybe we need to like tie a couple Twizzlers together and get a real Indiana Jones crack of the whip, crack of the Twiz. I mean, I'm going to be losing, so you can have at me if you want.
Interesting.
You want to slap me with Twizzlers?
Sure. The thing is, now that someone like LeBron has given such publicity to red vines, I bet you their stock price goes through the roof in the next couple of days. Stock price? I bet you it does, man. I bet your sales go up.
Are they publicly traded?
Yeah, that's a great question.
They must be. They must be.
Really?
I mean, it's
I don't think
free
so.
advertising, and it's like everyone's talking about it. So people are going to go out today and be like, I
They
always
got a
thought it-
tweet up. Candy fit for a king.
Yeah,
There you
that's
go.
smart.
See?
They're all over it.
Yeah.
Oh, this is great. Hey, let's play Guess Who Tweeted It. As of 10 a.m. Eastern, LeBron has garnered $2.6 million so far for red vines in the equivalent advertising from TV, radio, newsprint, digital, social media, according to @Apex Marketing. Who tweeted it?
Darren Ravel.
Yep.
But it's true, doesn't it? I
There
mean,
you go.
it just like, I wonder if LeBron had that pre-set up, or someone was just eating them, and he's like, "Hey, give me some Twizzlers."
I mean,
or red vines.
he is playing chess out there and thinking 10 steps ahead, on and off the court with basketball and then his business. But I don't think he's thinking, tonight's the night that I'm gonna grab a red vine and I've already bought tons of stock. I'm well in under. Yeah,
that's it. He wants you to think that, but in actual fact, he
I think
loaded
he
up
saw
yesterday.
someone who appears to be sitting, like you said, right by the bench, having a red vine, and they either said, "Hey, LeBron, you want one?" or he saw it and did the classic, "Hey, give me one of those."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what
Yeah.
are you, a red vine or a Twizzler guy?
Wow.
Because I think I'm like Tass. I can't really remember having a red vine.
Yeah, I can't either. I'm pretty sure that I'm familiar with Twizzlers from my Canada days, but yeah. I mean, give me the black licorice.
Okay, you like that, yeah?
Yeah, it's funny. It is a tough taste as a kid, but then you sort of get through that stage and like it's actually delicious.
It is.
Yeah.
I think it tastes a lot like ouzo.
Well, it's the same.
for
the
sure.
same.
Which makes
Same
sense.
flavor for
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
it's
no
toast,
doubt.
which is, I really like ouzo, and I liked it as a kid. I drank early as a kid.
But so you know the black like with the color layers licorice in Australia.
Oh, with like the pink and white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you don't have that in North America, do you?
We
Or
had
do
that.
Is it
Yeah.
a hard candy? Or a softie?
No, it's a soft.
Isn't it like all sorts?
Yeah.
Or whatever?
Yeah,
Like-
licorice all sorts is
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what
you
you're
can
talking
get
about.
them in Canada
Yeah,
for sure.
You can?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what is the pink
I
and the
think
white?
those are just like
strawberry and vanilla.
Yeah,
It's like Neapolitan.
I think they are sweet just to sort of take a bit of the harshness out of the taste of straight licorice.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, we're learning a lot here today. Good tweet, man.
Thanks.
Way to pull that off. All right, pick 'em results from Tuesday night. Celtics Blazers. Celtics were favored by 5.5 on the road, and they got it done. Tatum, Brown, and company. Smart hitting threes there. So that's a win for Tass and Trey, who had the Celtics. Lee and I had the Blazers. I mean, I had to swerve. I was so far back. I had to try and catch Trey Kirby. It's over. It's officially over. Tass is 8-5, so he's fine. Trey and Lee 7-6 in February. I'm 3-10. My worst month. My only losing month so far this season. So I've lost. So it's a done deal. You might be smacking me with Twizzlers.
Twizzler whip.
Maybe you guys have a better suggestion. Let us know at NoDunksInc. Hashtag NoDunks for my payoff for losing this month. But why not pick it at least for tonight? Maybe we'll do it even for the rest of the week. Just why not? You know?
Yeah, why not?
I don't
Why
think we
not?
let's not start it over yet, but let's just continue with February.
No.
What's our game tonight?
People want to see it.
Yeah.
The Boston Celtics. Again, let's do it again.
Wow, again.
Because they're
Crazy.
They're going into Utah. Mm-hmm. That's what makes it interesting. The Jazz struggling. But they're 4.5-point favorites against the Boston Celtics.
Oh, wow.
So, what do you got?
Yeah,
This
but-
game on ESPN, looking forward to it.
A couple nights ago, the Jazz were, 8.5-point favorites with the Suns coming to town. Suns bullied them. 20-point win.
Yeah, Monday, yeah.
You just wonder if the Celtics, this is the last game of that road trip back-to-back. Are they like, let's just go to Boston, go home.
Celtics 3-2 on the road on the second night of a back-to-back this season.
Nice research.
That's right. Brad Stevens gets them going.
So what do you think?
Celtics.
Wow.
Same here. Just those 3 Utah games are disgusting.
Yeah. Look, I'll take the Jazz.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Jazz, too.
All right, Tass and I got the Jazz. They got to win by 5 or more. The other guys have the Celtics. And again, get your pick 'em ideas in. Tweet at us at NoDunksInc. Hashtag NoDunks. Email us, nodunks@theathletic.com. Keep your eyes and ears on the lookout for our mailbag-only episode of Beach Steppin'. That drops later today. We got some good, fun questions once again in the document. Have you looked at the document, Lee? Do you know what we're going to be talking about?
I'm just about to start browsing.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, I've got to
I
go
don't-
and put my sunscreen on, put my board shorts on.
Oh, yeah. You put a little zinc on your nose?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
You put a lot of zinc on that.
You got it, man.
Made Grisham envious for that schnoz. That was your Grisham laugh.
Got him.
All right, guys, make sure to check out the other great podcasts on the Athletic Network. Count the Dings, Back to Back, Hoops Adjacent, so many more. Yeah, Grisham, my buddy Grish caught a stray there by me. I was uncalled for. Apologies to DG. Parenting last night, DG, because his son, Andreas, my godson, super into the Raptors, super into basketball. I mean, he just wants to watch basketball all the time. But so I texted him. I texted Dave. I was like, "Did you let him stay up? How late did you let him go to watch the game?" It was around the end of the first quarter. Said nope. Had to send him to bed. He was being a real jerk all day. And he was apparently having a meltdown because it was an entertaining first quarter. He's all into it. Raps Bucks. That's his team. Oh yeah, it wasn't good. But he's like, you guys know as parents, like the empty threats. Like you can't. You gotta follow through. Follow through on them. So
there's a lot of steam coming out of Grisham's nose, huh?
Possibly.
He's going forehead to forehead with his son. You're going to bed. I'm staying up.
Oh my God.
You're a Fast and Furious guy, Trey. I told Grisham that he should go as Vin Diesel for Halloween. He can pull it off. Just put a little bald cap on.
Well,
that's it. That's the whole costume.
That's the whole costume.
A lot of people think he looks more like Nick Cage, right? Nicolas Cage.
Really?
Yeah, he gets that one a lot.
Oh, Gone in 60 Seconds.
All right, guys. Beach Steppin' coming out later today.
Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, the parent company for Red Vines, their stock went way up. American Licorice Company, their stock went way up. Although they don't have a stock at all, so guess not.
They should.
Embrace the day, people.
You could stay